In the United States, Americans buy 1,250,000,000 bottles of water a week. 4 bottles for every man, woman, and child in the country every week. If you have not had your 4 this week, someone had 8. And I use the word buy advisedly. We don't drink 1,250,000,000 bottles of water if the experience at the bottom of my minivan is any indicator. We drink about 1/3 of them, and then they become absolutely unclaimable after that. Right. We spend $21 billion a year in the United States on bottled water. What does that number mean? Well, we only spend $29 billion a year maintaining the entire water infrastructure of the country. All the pipes, pumps, and treatment plants get $29 billion, and bottled water gets $21 billion. We spend almost as much on water delivered in crushable plastic containers as we do on the vital economic infrastructure of the whole country. So when people say to me, there's no money to fix water problems, I say, aha, actually, not only is there money to fix water problems, we're already spending it on water. Just one serving at a time. The US today in 2012 uses less water as a country than we did in 1980. We have doubled the size of the economy. We have added 70 million people, and we have dropped our water use by 10% during that 30 years. So it's very clear that dramatic progress is possible. If we can do that, and I don't think anybody thinks we've dried out our world, then there's huge progress to be made around the world. Here's how we talk about water matters. People are very, very passionate about water. You can get the problem right, you can get the science behind the problem right, you can get the solution and the technology to implement the solution right, but if you don't get the politics right, if you don't manage the public conversation right, you won't be allowed to get the water right. And so how you talk about it really, really matters. And that's because there's one more bit of conventional wisdom that isn't quite right, and that is that most water problems are not water problems. Most places with water problems, in fact, have enough water, they have enough smarts, they even have enough money to solve the problems in front of them. Most water problems turn out to be people problems, and politics and managing the public conversation is the way you solve people problems. I think the most important thing to appreciate about what connects Jim Gill in Perth and the IBM plant in Burlington, Vermont, and the folks at Michelle Wool in Salisbury, Australia, 3 completely different corners of the world, is that all they did was figure out that water scarcity was coming, that it couldn't be dodged, and that they had to do things to confront it. They didn't deploy the Manhattan Project. They deployed a different way of thinking. The innovation was we have to change how we approach water, how we think about it, and how we manage it. There was the breakthrough wasn't technological. It was all in thinking and behavior change.